Greetings, everyone. I'm Diane Thomas, and welcome back to my Certified High Performance Coaching Training Series in support of Diane's CHPC Recertified Project 2017. It's an online crowdfunding campaign hosted at Generosity by Indiegogo. It was launched on April 17th to help me raise the funds I'll need to recertify as a Certified High Performance Coach in June. Now, the campaign runs through May 26th, and there's a link below. You can get connected either as a financial contributor or as a perk partner, because I'm still seeking goods and services that I can offer as incentives to visitors and potential contributors to the site. So hopefully be interested in doing that. Now, this training program and this training series is going to be accompanying and has been accompanying this campaign through the end of it, which is May 26th. And I created it to help give you an overview and some foundational knowledge about the certified high performance coaching principles that we use to help our clients get to higher levels of achievement in 5 particular areas: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. Now, those, what we call 5 pillars of high performance, where I'm covering one of those every day of the work week. So Monday through Friday. Monday's clarity, Tuesdays is energy, Wednesdays is courage, Thursdays is productivity, and Friday is influence. And today is Productivity Thursday. And this is a day where we look at things like distractions, negative self-talk, and procrastination, and how those things can thwart our abilities to move our agendas forward and be as productive and get as much done as we want to every day. And we also looked at some little tricks and practices that we could do to almost immediately amp up our productivity and make us feel like we were getting more done every day, because everybody wants to do that. Now, last week, you may remember, we were looking at some specific questions that I had posed. I told you that I posed to potential clients to get them ready for the work that we may engage in. And I think you kind of have to take a baseline triage kind of approach to find out how best you can help people. And so I created these questions to use as sort of taking the temperature of where they were at. And those questions, there were 4 questions, and they helped them do 4 things: to verbalize exactly what about their business and life that helped them or made them feel that they weren't being as productive as they needed to, the things that they were feeling a little bit stuck on. It also helped them to clarify exactly what their goals were. And the questions as well also helped them think about what they needed to do to considerably change their outcomes over the next 12 months. And also, what specific things were they doing that they knew were working and what things were not working. Now, those questions, while they were quite appropriate for just kind of getting the landscape and checking out where you're at with things, really are sort of something that you would do after you've cleared up some key issues. And those issues that we certainly address in our dealings with our clients as certified high performance coaches have a lot to do with things like mindset, things like how we're feeling, how we're showing up, what our foundational supports are that we need to have in place so that we can then do things like get more clear, get more energy, be more courageous, be more productive every day, and be more influential. As a matter of fact, when we're doing our sessions, our coaching sessions, which are 12-week long, we meet over 12 weeks, what we do is really fine-tune and master what those supports need to be. We usually do that at the latter half of our sessions, 12-week sessions. So the first half, we talk about amping up the tips and tools and tricks and mindsets that you need to get more clear, more energy, more courage, more productivity, and more influence. The other half, we talk about a number of other things, and one of them, and specifically I wanted to address today, is psychology, which is basically what we believe about who we are and what our abilities are. And I wanted to just survey that a little bit in terms of productivity and look at how psychology affects how productive we can be every day. Now, I read some time ago a blog post from a business consultant that I follow, and I like his work. And I find him, he's a really respectable and very accomplished and knowledgeable business consultant. And he was talking about a particular movie that he had watched some years ago that helped him gain more confidence as a consultant. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. As I read it, he was talking about the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. And the main character, John Nash, was challenged with schizophrenia. He was this brilliant mathematician. And the consultant really took note of how he was able to use his schizophrenia to help him manage through his work. And it helped him, in looking at that, realize that while he thought he had some issues around negative self-talk, he can only imagine someone with mental illness recognizing that and using what seems like a horrible affliction to help them proceed through life. Now, we are all challenged with some kind of negative talk at some point in time. And we know with a little humility, we could take some significant, relentless, and self-imposed issues that we may be hearing in terms of negative self-talk. We can take those things oftentimes and try to stuff them down and push them aside somewhere. But we do know that they can be debilitating at the same time. And just accepting that certainly is frightening enough. And you don't even need to have a diagnosis of mental illness to recognize how devastating negative self-talk can be to you. It's almost as strangling and suffocating as these climbing vines that you'll see in people's yards, or climbing up the side of a wall, or covering a tree. The challenge and the opportunity with this, though, is that how can we use it, as in the case of the character John Nash, to repurpose what we're here to do and how we can approach what we're here to do. We've got to turn it into something useful, something beautiful. And how do we do that? How do we equip ourselves with the tools that would help us use negative talk to support and strengthen us? Now, what we focus on expands, as we know. So we're often wrestling with the demons that self-sabotage sets up once we start with the negative talk, and once we allow that to take over our minds. We find that it becomes, if we allow it to fester, a part of who we are and a part of our belief system. So what are your beliefs? What do you believe about yourself now that you know really isn't true? Maybe somebody said something to you when you were younger, or maybe when you were having a particular difficult time in your life, or maybe even now you're hearing something. What are you believing about what you're being told, either currently by someone on the outside, or what set up those wheels turning for you that's turning you in a negative way? How is it thwarting what can be possible for you? Changing your mindset is a decision. You can do it. It can happen. Now, what you do have to realize is that you have to discipline your mind to think differently, learn how to live more confidently in the presence of negativity even, and especially in the presence of negativity. When I'm challenged in that way, I found that one question I asked can change the whole thing around for me. And that question is, how can I? I banned I can't from my lexicon a long time ago. I don't entertain it unless I'm dealing with some unhealthy situation or person. What I recognize is that can is an affirmative. It challenges the status quo. It pushes my own envelope. It's forward thinking. It creates expectations and intentions that help me move forward. It's hopeful. And that's where I want to be, in a place where I know there are possibilities waiting for me to discover. High achievement is what can can facilitate. And high performers are frontiersmen. We're the ones out there taking look at a lay of the land and finding those trails and blazing them to our personal bests. That's what we do best as high performers. We have created mindsets that take external challenges and disempowering self-talk and turn them into amazing, recycled, and disciplined ways of thinking that move us more so towards how can I. Now, as I've gotten older, certainly I've been sparring with my self-talk over time. But I've recognized that I can't. It's something that I have to tactically attempt to move and to create more in a way that is going to be life-affirming for me. I need to move it to a space where it may not necessarily be out of mind, but it's out of power. So, high achievers, what thoughts, beliefs have been set up in your mind that are preventing you from moving forward? What's that negative self-talk? What's that bad program that you've got running through your mind constantly that's hindering your progress? And what life-changing opportunities can bring to your life? I'm hoping that you're interested and energized and going to be open to sharing what comes up for you as you move through this challenge in the spaces that you see this video. Because as we said before, this may be one way in terms of the communication that I'm having with you right now, but in these spaces is where we can have a conversation and dialogue, because I know that it'll help you and it certainly will help someone else. So until next time, have a fabulously productive Thursday, and thank you so much for participating.